looks like we share the same view when you talk about not looking at figures, but what you can see. For those, they say seeing is believing, and not believing before you get to see. Now, let's look at practical example. For Roti Mac here, he sent a tweet, and he says, well, Mr. Dati, is it only cassava that makes the Minister of Agriculture a shining light? What else can you name? Now we're looking at the agriculture sector, because you mentioned the agri minister and you talked about cassava bread. He wants you to space it more. What else have you seen in our agricultural sector?
Well, the fact is that when you see a man of creativity, it starts with little things that can reach out to people. You recall that this cassava business started even right from the period of President Obasanjo. You understand? But here is a man that is ready to capture the imagination of Nigerians and be able to project that idea. There's so much going into agriculture. Look at the fertilizer distribution. This year, they have been able to reach out to the farmers directly. Unlike in the past, where you always had what we usually call cabal or mafia in between, who are the ones that own the fertilizer.
Tell us more about that in the north, because once upon a time, they say they had what they call political farmers, to the extent that the peasant and the ordinary farmer that would want to come get these fertilizers just to grow his or her crops, they don't have access to it. So the political farmers who want to call the cabal, have they been stopped from getting this, and are the real farmers getting them?
Yes, to a large extent, because most of the farmers have been identified and they have been dealt with directly. Most times in the past, the government had a lot of subsidy on fertilizer. So at the end of the day, the middlemen now buy those fertilizer at subsidized rates and sell it at exploitative rates to the farmers. So that in itself does not assist the local farmers, who are predominantly farmers who fight only for their own household. So with this sector now, there's been a change whereby the farm inputs are going directly to the farmers. And also in the area of, if you go around the states, go to Kwara State, Plateau State, quite some states, some of the governors are beginning to bring out programs that will encourage agriculture, that will bring about mechanized farming. And this comes from a visionary leadership that is permeating from the top to the ground. And that is why, and it's not only in agriculture. There are several ministries and ministers that are guiding light. Just like there are some that you begin to wonder, what are they still doing in this cabinet?
I'm happy just that, well, we still have some that we should be asking. Well, we have to acknowledge Aisha. Aisha is saying that, well, about the aviation, what was that group? Where was that group when the airport was smelly and dirty? We'll also come back to that, because we're not looking at the airport in focus. What should you be saying if you had the opportunity of meeting the president about those who shouldn't be in the cabinet? It's quite good that you noted that some of them are just not in the business of running things better for the people.
Well, to start with, I think I want to respond to Aisha and say that these are the kind of things that is encouraging, visionary leadership, when ordinary Nigerians are appreciating what is being done. You know, it's ironic that people who see themselves as aviation stakeholders are today fighting a vision. You begin to wonder, did they want to remain in that smelly environment? You know, but back to your question, there is every reason for a president. There are ministers that serve different functions and different areas. There are those who we believe have the capacity but need time. For instance, our unfortunate outing, at the Olympics, we all know that Bolaji, the present Minister of Sports, did a lot when he was Commissioner in Kwara. He did a lot to turn around the youth ministry. But he didn't have enough time to do a lot. And we believe that with what has happened, it will now, stimulate him to do more and move faster, because Nigerians are watching and getting tired. And it's also important that at this point in time, we thank God we're in a democracy. What the ministers do, their programs and actions are there for everybody to see. For instance, the Minister of Interior just launched an expatriate program where the system that is meant to monitor expatriates and ensure that within 2 years they are being replaced by Nigerians.
Tell us more about that, because we had that in our opening sequence. We had to talk about that, and perhaps you space it more on that. How does it work?
Yeah, the system is how it operates right now is that expatriates are not supposed to stay more than 2 years, and even before their employment, there is supposed to be an advertisement to ensure that no Nigerian is able to fit in because they are brought in, and the law stipulates that there should be 2 understudies. That after 2 years there will be a replacement.
Some kind of training.
Yes, a training. But you find that there are expatriates that probably speak more Yoruba and eat more pomo than myself, who is a Nigerian, because they've been here for donkey years and they manipulate the system. Now the minister is introducing a system that is foolproof, whereby the information can be accessed on the internet, where other organizations can come, where if you today you want to find out what is happening in this organization, the minister can do that with a touch of the button. So it encourages transparency in the system, and it also creates employment. Because these are areas where we are lacking as a nation. We have a lot of engineers, graduates who are roaming the streets, and you begin to see people coming around, probably from different countries, and they can hardly even speak English. They take jobs as menial jobs as carpentry, as cooking, where Nigerians can fit in. Now, those are areas where Nigerian jobs are being taken away. Look at what is happening in Ghana. The Ghanaian authorities are creating a situation whereby it's practically impossible for Nigerian businessmen to operate. Why? Because they want to create jobs for their people. Now, if you talk about creating jobs, these are ways to create jobs, because the jobs are there, but they are being taken away by people who are not here.
It reminds us of, I think that was in 2001, close to the beginning of 2002, when the telecoms company started here, and we saw loads and loads of expatriates. And not quite long, late last year, we saw in the papers that some Nigerians were complaining that even now that they can now erect masts, build base stations, they still don't get patronage from some of these companies. So is this going to help? Because if you say almost 10 years down the line of telecommunications and some other industries here in Nigeria, and we'll still have expatriates being in charge of some of these, building base stations, erecting masts, and doing some other menial jobs, as you have just said, what can the government do with regards to all of this?
The government needs to protect the industry. For instance, let's not even talk of communication. Let's talk of television, for instance.
How can they protect the industry?
Look at television, for instance. Channels cannot go to US and be reporting for CNN, but they come to our shows. Instead of operating through established platforms being protected by government, whereby, look, if you want story, you can outsource your story from a local media. But they come into our space, take the news they want, and they don't offer us the same opportunity to do that. So that in itself, the government has a role to protect industries, because you can't have DSTV from South Africa coming here and taking over our airspace. Every government office you go, they are there, and our local stations cannot operate. Why? They have financial hindrances. Those ones have so much finance, so it's not fair. It's not fair. So there is a need for legislation that should be able to protect and project our local industry, the local content, and in so doing, employment will be created. If you look at the little industries we have, the level of employment being created is so much that if you translate it to 10, 20, 30, the issue of unemployment will begin to be a bygone.
Now, is that not likely to affect Nigeria's investment drive now?
Investment drive, how? You must start from home first. Which investment drive? Investment is when you are driving for investment, is going out to look for what you do not have. Like what the aviation ministry is doing, for instance, having put the airport in order, having brought this project, the Etopoli project, which is creating a modern city around an airport. Then you go out because the investments, the money is out there. It's not here. You understand? And when you do that, you now strengthen your industry, because the more you have inflow of capital, it comes with inflow of technology. It comes with interaction and contact.